Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Yes, sir, Bob. We're podcasters. God damn, God, we suck.
Hell yeah.
We're the worst, Dave. We're so bad at this.
Hell yeah.
Why do they keep letting us do this? Week after week, Dave. Why hasn't anyone stopped us yet?
I don't know. I mean, someday we will be taken down.
Yeah, one
I'm
day.
sure of
one
it.
day.
Oh my goodness.
Someone will take me out with a pickup truck, and that'll be it. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're on an episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast.
It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I am your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell. Greg.
Greg,
that's you, Greg.
what do I do?
Yeah.
Tell them your name, Greg.
Oh, am I officially like a co-host? I thought I was maybe a guest or something.
Yeah, you can be whatever you want.
You can say
you get
co-host,
to
you can
introduce
try it on.
yourself.
Yeah, you get
so
to-
you could
it's-
say like I am company president.
Mhm.
Like you can yeah.
Well, I am head foreman of the New York Grand Jury, Greg Smith.
Nice.
Hey, pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, I didn't have much going on, so I thought I'd swing by.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for being on, Greg.
Thank you for having me. I'm hyped to get hype.
Good. I'm hyped that you're hyped to get hyped. And therefore I win.
Well, okay, I cede.
Thank you.
I
Greg,
have no rebuttal.
before we get started, do you want to plug anything? Do you have anything to tell people right off the bat, right away? You know, you got the whole world's listening. Anything you want to say?
Holy cannoli. Plugs right away. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SmithLGreg. If you live in Los Angeles, you could go to the UCB Theater April 21st at 10 p.m. to see me do some freestyle hip-hop comedy with my group Dopetown 3000.
Oh, cool.
And if you live in Houston, Texas, my horror short film, Listening, will be having its world premiere at the World Fest in Houston. That's April 24th through the 30th.
Wow, that's so cool, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, as we've probably already said, welcome and thank you. Tom, how you doing? You doing okay? What's
I'm doing
going
okay.
on over there?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just
Sure.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying myself. I'm vibing.
Uh-huh.
How are you doing, Dave? How are things going over there?
Terribly. No, I'm actually good too. All right, I'm glad we established this.
Yeah.
That we're all good, we're all hyped.
Yeah. I'm sufficiently hyped. But
I'm actually hyped.
I have space for more.
Yeah, I always have room in my heart for more hype.
I'm like
I'm
plate
generally
2
hyped
at a
because-
buffet. I could do 2 more
Yeah.
plates.
Yeah, for sure.
There's always room in my enlarged heart for
Yeah. I'm hyped because I'm seeing Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow, and
oh, sweet.
I'm seeing it
it's
tomorrow
it's
as
one
well.
of those. Nice. It's one of those movies where I haven't thought about it for a while, and then it just is here, and I'm like, you know what? I'm excited about this. You know, I'm into this.
Same.
It's got good reviews. It's presumably has dragons and dungeons.
Possibly dungeons, if we're to believe what we are being told.
It also has Honor Among Thieves, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a bold offer.
Yeah, I kind of wish the thieves were sort of punished properly.
Right.
I think
Because
we
what
do
kind of
too
message
much.
does that send?
Yeah, I don't want the kids walking away like crime is good. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Somebody needs to be responsible, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's not going to be me, so it has to be you.
So you guys want to talk about trailers?
Dave, I had been waiting all day to talk about these trailers.
Okay, good. Because first, we have to thank some producers. So let's do that, too.
Okay.
Okay.
I am equally excited to do that.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, big thank you to the lubed up ghost of Dave Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to @Nerd Numbers.
It's a slippery ghost.
Thank you. Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Howe. Deck the halls with blood.
Thank you.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Barry Two Math says, "Happy birthday, Scrappy." Now go listen to yesterday's we just watched. I believe that is not supposed to be that anymore.
Well, thank you
Barry,
anyway.
remind me what it needs to be about ska, right? How you hate ska, right? That's
Is
what
that
it
right?
is. No, it's not. I can't do
be
that.
it.
I can't do that to
don't,
Barry.
Don't put that evil on Barry.
Okay, I won't.
Let me jump in here. Thinking of Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
Thinking of Bootler Bootlesson.
Thank you.
Thinking of Brian Whom Tom Knows.
Thank you.
Thinking of Brockway Loves the Meat Millie.
Thank you.
Thinking of Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thinking of Christopher Robert Sparks Esquire.
Thank you.
Thinking of Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thinking of Davey the Ghost of East Las Vegas Francis.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking of David Knife Boot Henson.
Knife boot.
Mm.
Thank you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You guys got 2
It's time.
ghost producers. That's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, I think there's more than that. It's we're really in touch with the supernatural here.
Yeah,
Spooky.
Dave and I are both mediums.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an extra large. Hey-o.
All right. Settle down.
Should I leave?
It's time.
No. Do more.
Okay. Listen. Elemental, the Pixar film. We've seen a teaser for it, and there is now a trailer. My note was that this is the most Pixar film ever because it really feels like this is as Pixar gets, right? It's a world of elements and water and fire get together, and their love is forbidden or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels really Pixar, right? And then it's gonna like teach a lesson,
Yeah.
and all the adults are gonna cry, including myself, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really feeling this one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think it looks
Maybe I'm
really
just a
bad.
grumpus. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wait,
to me it's missing some of that kind of punfully intended elemental stuff of the Pixar formula. I feel like the jokes are all kind of overcranked. I feel like I'm not seeing sort of the heart of it. And I feel like maybe it's just the way the trailer is cut, but there's a lot of kind of blankly performed exposition. It feels a little like a slog to me.
well, I do kind of agree because when I say it looks like a Pixar parody, like it really does, in that it looks like it's like low-hanging fruit in a way of like these people are different. And they're in a society that's separated, and it's like I don't know. It just feels like a very ham-fisted one. I don't know, but I could be wrong. I'm just seeing a trailer here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think I agree. That I couldn't really articulate why I just wasn't feeling it, but like a lot of what Greg said kind of clicked. Like it does kind of feel a little cynical, weirdly,
right?
Like weirdly. But maybe that's just because it's the first trailer. I don't know.
I don't know. It feels cranked out. It really
it kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, let's give them, another one.
I did
another one of these
because I couldn't super recognize a lot of the voice cast, so I looked it up, and a lot of them are kind of either not celebrity stunt cast but still sort of famous working actors, or just straight up voice actors, which I think is kind
I
of
like that.
Yeah, it's a
That's
dying
cool.
art, I think, in contemporary animation, and I dug that it went for that. It also has Joe Pera in it, which always excites me.
Yeah. I think so one of the things we're kind of circling is Pixar is also starting to have like a DreamWorks problem, which is like, okay, I thought Soul was great. I really liked Soul.
Me too.
But it's still like, oh, these little colorful dildos, right? And Inside Out kind of started that, where it's like, here's some abstract characters that represent an abstract idea. And this is just kind of that again. And I feel like they've done it a few times. Whereas, again, Soul was really good, which is why I'm saying, like, I don't know, maybe this will be really good. But I think it's more compelling when they do something like Onward, where they're like, or Luca, where they just like, let's do something like very different premise wise, as opposed to like, here are these little fucking dildos that represent this abstract concept. Like we've done that a few times.
I love that that's how you think of them.
As little dildos?
Yep, just little dildos.
Little dildos.
It would be.
I mean, I think dildos is a good stand-in for saying like gizmos or whatchamacallit.
It would be difficult
I guess
and like unsatisfying to use a water dildo.
Mm-hmm.
It would just kind of like fall apart.
It is a little water dildo though.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Do not endorse that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it just sounds like it didn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, so I don't know. It could just be first trailer, or I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe it's just not that good.
We'll see. I mean, we're basing it off of one goddamn trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that broad premise. It does feel like it's like, oh, they're kind of phoning this premise in.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's hard to tell, you know? It just feels like an easy one for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like almost like you can almost see the checklist when you're watching the
but
trailer.
Again, so does like something like Soul a little bit. Like,
that's true. Yeah, that's
and that
true.
was very good because it's like, yeah, it's your soul. It's like such an obvious concept to go after. But I think that movie was very good. So like, yeah, maybe they're starting with something that's easy to understand, and then they're gonna do something good with it. No way to know.
It's gonna get real Lynchian.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about this Asteroid City?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is
definitely should.
I think also the most Wes Anderson film.
I know.
Every one of his films becomes a parody of the last
of itself.
One. Yeah.
I was a huge Wes Anderson fan for a while, and then I kind of fell off over the last few movies. But I'm pretty back on board with this. Like the whole look at this movie, the storyline, where it's about people trapped in kind of like a nuke town in the 50s.
Yeah.
Near like a testing facility. I'm really into that like look and vibe, and you know, I've like I said, I was always a Wes Anderson fan, so I'm like I align with his style of humor more often than I don't. So like
the dry tone is usually
yeah. So like this trailer is like extremely my shit. So I'm definitely going to see this one. I didn't watch like the newspaper one, the French Dispatch.
I haven't seen his last two.
I'm a big French Dispatch truther. I think that movie slaps. I kind of like that Wes Anderson is just becoming more and more a purer, distilled, almost self-parodic version of himself. And this one, yeah, the color temperature is so neat. The compositions are so immaculate. I really like that we have kind of that dry tone, but also that Tom Hanks, seemingly incapable of giving kind of a deadpan line delivery. All of his lines felt very heartfelt and emotional. I really think I'm going to fall in love with this one.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Hanks. I'm super excited for Tom Hanks to be in a Wes Anderson movie, and I loved the tiny detail of the revolver tucked into his waistband.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. he just keeps collecting honkies for his films.
Uh-huh.
I might see this one more likely than the others, but I've kind of made peace with it where like, you know, I just don't I have the opposite effect, which is that his early stuff I liked because it felt less limited, and now it feels like he's limited by his own like shtick that he has to do every time. When it's like just people saying lines very dryly in these very, you know, symmetrical straight on shots that are all very twee and bright, and they just start bleeding together for me a little bit. Which isn't to say that he isn't talented, and like he is very funny. I've just sort of, it's not even like a conscious thing. I just like never saw French Dispatch. I just never found the time. You know, like I kind of lost my passion for Wes Anderson.
Well, I suppose it's
like
all-
a kid you don't play with. I just never found the time.
No, it's not like I wasn't like fuck this. You know, I just lost interest.
You're kind of like one of Wes Anderson's deadbeat dads. You're just like, I'm sorry. Sorry, Ben Stiller.
You're a real Gene Hackman. Yeah.
I pulled a real Hackman.
I guess it's kind of like, everything you say, I do believe is technically correct. Maybe it's just kind of like that cilantro gene thing. To you, it's sort of tasting a little like strong soap, and to me, it's like a very delicious spice. I can't wait to get again.
It's less. It's not quite that. It's more of like if you've eaten the same burrito every day, you get sick of it. Where it's like you know what would get me back on board with Wes Anderson? If he did like a horror movie or a different genre. But he does basically one thing every time, and again, he does it very well.
Right.
It's just after a while, like I tend to, and this is the same thing I have with Tarantino, which is like they ramp it up every time, they become more and more of that, and it's like I don't know, I always go back to like, your Robert Zemeckis's, your Richard Donner, and even Spielberg, who can just make different genre films. And it's like, yeah, if I'm in the mood for a Wes Anderson film, it's like cotton candy, where it's like, yeah, if I'm into the mood for that, or a Yoo-Hoo, then I'll be like, ooh, I want one. But I don't have one. I don't really feel like having one most of the time.
They are all kind of firmly the same tone. Although I would argue Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think, was...
Yeah, I really liked that one.
Yeah, and Isle of Dogs are...
Because his taking what he does and putting it in stop motion is a really fun thing to do, know?
Yeah.
I do like that this trailer, to speak to sort of the different genre elements, kind of like Isle of Dogs, he is leaning into quote-unquote sci-fi a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is a neat sort of direction for him.
It's definitely a unique direction for him, right?
Yeah.
And it's got that going for him. Like, again, I'm not like against this film, and like looking at it, I'm like, yeah, this looks fun. I am excited to see, like, I think the most fun of Wes Anderson is to see which new actor he can throw into this bullshit. Like, my favorite was probably Bruce Willis. That was like a hell of a fucking
and he's great in that movie.
His performance
of course
in that
he
is
is
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good in that movie.
He doesn't get to do stuff like that, and unfortunately, he won't ever again because he's retired. But it was like that's the sort of shit that, like, same with Tarantino. Like, two of the like their biggest assets is they have enough like pull that they can get actors who can do things out of type, and that's a delight. So like I am excited to see Tom Hanks do this type of film because he doesn't get to, he has to play fucking Sully or whatever all the time.
He has to land planes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like, to touch on what Greg had mentioned about it's this and Isle of Dogs kind of going more sci-fi, it does seem like there is definitely like an alien in this movie, right? Like it seems pretty clear that they see an actual alien, which is pretty unique for Wes Anderson movies. So
yeah, for sure.
I wonder if it'll be like stop motion, like the fishies in The Life Aquatic or something. That'd be fun.
That would be cool. Yeah. That's my favorite one. That's actually one of my favorite movies, period, is Life Aquatic.
That's a great movie.
And I love that. I love that decision. That was such a cool artistic decision.
For sure.
Anyway.
Speaking of cool artistic decisions, this next trailer is for Knights of the Zodiac. This just sort of sucker punched me. It's just like, why is this? Where did this come from? What is this?
This is an anime, right? And this is the live action American adaptation of it.
Sort of a Dragon Ball evolution.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball evolution of it.
Huh.
I don't know anything about it, and I judging from the trailer, it's a special boy story. It's about this girl who's like the reincarnation of Athena or something, and then she has all these dudes around her that are her knights that are supposed to protect her, and there's lots of magic Harry Potter stuff. I guess. I don't know.
My hot take is that I want to see this.
Oh,
Of course, obviously.
absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry. I want to see it, but also I think the effects kind of look good for some reason.
Yes.
And not like good, like
don't
well done, but like artistically interesting, I
Stylish.
guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, no, they don't look bad at all. It's just not. It's not going for photorealism, which is what so many other digital effects go for.
At times,
Yeah.
the fight scenes kind of gave me like Scott Pilgrim vibes. That adaptation.
Yes, there's something to this. I totally agree. Where it just looks like it was made by someone who is good.
Someone intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. I also just realized watching this that along with dying and everything, Sean Bean has to say a lot of fucking
Oh man,
sci-fi fantasy
he
bullshit
says-
and everything he's in.
he
Even
has
Lord of the
said
Rings, like
so much fantastical gibberish.
right. Remember fucking Jupiter Ascending? He has to tell her that like bees are
Bees
attracted
know
to her.
the queen of the
What a picture.
universe.
Yeah.
Man,
Poor Sean Bean.
truly, what a picture.
I also
Yeah,
love.
this is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
Well, fine. I love that Famke Johnson shows up in this again. I feel like I haven't seen her in a while. I've always loved her. And she seems like she's kind of vamping it up, maybe as the villain, which is a fun look.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I dig that I had never seen the male lead before, and he's apparently the son of famous celebrated martial artist Sonny Chiba, and that's really
That's
Oh, no
awesome.
way. That rules, yeah. I will say that the bit of the story that I could sort of pluck out of the trailer was what Famke Janssen's motivation seems to be, which is I thought was kind of interesting for sort of special boy, special girl superpowers movie where she's like, her point of view is like this power is bad for anybody to have, so I'm gonna get rid of it.
Huh.
That's kind of interesting, right?
very
Yeah. It's also
Incredibles.
just
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Yeah.
It's also once again just nice to see her in things. Like she should have never left us.
Yeah.
She has had a long tradition of playing terrifying hot women. Like that's her whole thing, right? Is
And we
scary
need that
hot.
to not go away.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
it
character
can
type
it
we
could
need.
I don't know why it would go away. Literally from the first time I saw her in TNG, she has just played that role. And she's killed it. So, I don't know. I had one more thought on this, but I don't remember, and it probably doesn't matter. I don't know. Looks real dumb, but I can't wait to see it.
Nailing that gobbledygook.
Yeah. Yeah, holy
Man,
shit.
Sean Bean telling you you're Athena.
Of course he's in this. Like, who would, like, it's the least surprising person to show up in a
Right.
trailer like
you're
this.
looking for him. Like, it's like, all right, where's Sean Bean?
Yeah,
I know he's in
where's Sean Bean?
There he is.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Transatlantic. It seems like it's based off a true story. Is this a show?
I think it's a show.
It's a
I couldn't
series.
tell if it was a show or a movie either.
We've kind of whined about that in past because they don't. Yeah, it's a mini series,
okay.
which is that I love me a mini series.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's an American journalist who was in France in the 40s and was helping people get safe passage out. That's, I mean, a hell of a story. Like,
I really dug this trailer. The story is interesting, and it's like it seems like it's a big ensemble cast, so a lot of different storylines and perspectives to follow through this event. I'm into it.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
And it was kind of cool to see different types of stories from people that you don't typically see in like a World War II kind of project. It was cool to see a queer storyline, a black storyline, female lead. That's just kind of neat.
They also there's like a tinge of like joy in this trailer and Defiance, where it's like we're not gonna just try to like make you fucking cry, and I appreciate that. It's got MODOK in it.
That
Corey
is
Stoll,
Corey
right?
Stoll. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was.
Is he going to show his
So
little
there's
butt
that.
in it?
He had better.
He'd better.
Yeah, it's
Show me those
I don't know.
transatlantic cheeks.
Yeah.
His tiny little buns.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish I had more to say about this because it's probably one of the better trailers. It's just like, yeah, it looks good. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So people go check it out.
See
This
Gillian
seems to happen
Jacobs
sometimes.
Back in something. I feel like I haven't seen her in a while either.
Yeah, that was cool. That like threw me off a little. Like she's one of those actresses where I'm like, after Community, I'm like, I don't know. You're always funny to me. So it's gonna take a minute for me to not see her that way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sort of like when
yeah,
Jim Carrey did The Majestic.
Exactly like that.
Mm-hmm. It's the example everybody has in their mind.
Right. But yeah, looks good. People should check it out. Should we move on to Master Gardener? This is from fucking, what's his name? Paul Schrader?
Yeah.
Yeah, for people who don't know, he I know he wrote Taxi Driver and First Reformed, and he did Bringing Out the Dead, or the adaptation rather.
Yep.
He's directed a bunch of things too,
Yeah.
right?
His
I'm
last
looking
movie
him up.
was The Card Counter, which was
Right. And
it was Oscar Isaac as an ex-veteran with a tortured past who has turned to poker, and this movie is about an ex-veteran with a tortured past who has turned to gardening.
Right.
It's a little I don't know. I know I was just saying I love when Wes Anderson does Wes Anderson, but Schrader stuff is getting a little samey to me.
This trailer in particular felt kind of silly, right? Like it felt a little corny.
Well, so he also did First Reformed. He directed rather, but like I like thriller schlock.
Yeah,
and that's what this
too.
feels like.
Yeah.
And there's this funny like thing where his name is attached. Joel Edgerton's there. Sigourney Weaver. So it's like big names attached to something that feels like schlock. It almost reminds me of like Stoker, a movie I really liked, but that's Park Chan-wook's only like English film. And it's like the plot on its own is like a schlocky thriller that's elevated by the people in it. And that's what this feels like to me, is like a schlocky thriller that normally it would pass people by, but it has some names attached, right?
Right.
So like I'm kind of excited, but yeah, it looks a little silly. I don't know.
Yeah, like it was like surprisingly so for all of the talent attached to it. I was like, "Oh, this seems kind of cheesy."
And
I do love that they
Go ahead.
What?
Who goes? I guess I will go. I think I prefer the sort of semi-silly pitch y'all are doing. And maybe I'm taking in some of what I know about Paul Schrader as a human into it. But I feel like that guy is so humorless and so kind of like self-serious that I don't get the vibe that it is like purposefully a little bit leaning towards schlock. I get the vibe that he's trying to say a very serious thing and just kind of not quite hitting the mark.
I agree with you 100%. I do not think that this is intentionally schlock.
But that's of course going to make it funnier, right?
Yeah,
like
right,
that's better. I'm looking forward to that aspect of it.
And Paul Schrader does kind of suck as a dude. So
I like that this is showing both versions of Joel Edgerton. There's only two modes. It's long hair beard or clean cut. And they have them both. They have him long hair, beard, in the flashback, so I appreciate that.
I do love me a Joel Edgerton. He's very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a weird little smush face. I love him.
Yeah.
He's adorable.
His tiny little face.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll see this. I don't know if it's good based on everything we're saying. But like if it's a movie that takes itself too seriously and is funny, that works for me, you know? If it's like fucking something like Serenity with Matthew McConaughey, something like that, I'd really appreciate.
Man. If only.
If only. Nothing could really live up to that.
No. Shooting falling stars like that only happen once a generation. Yeah, man.
But yeah, I agree with you guys.
I did want to call out. There's a really awkward line delivery in the trailer where Joel Edgerton is like defending Sigourney Weaver's grandniece by saying, "Oh, she's just learning how to express herself," and then Sigourney says, "And I'm the Queen of Scotland," and the
She
trailer,
doesn't.
like,
Yeah.
there's like a dramatic music beat to like punctuate the line, and it's just the goofiest thing to say
Right.
and the weirdest delivery. And it's
Right. Sigourney's obviously a great actress,
Right.
but like I don't think
But
she
that's not a
believes
great
that
line. That's not a good line. That's
And
a
also,
bad line.
I think they cut out a fucking there.
They definitely cut it. It's
Yeah,
very
you're
obviously
right.
clipped out an expletive.
Which I
Right.
guess...
Do we need to explain these plots? I mean, it's just this guy is like
Oh, I
helping
don't-
out Sigourney Weaver, and
Yeah.
he's an ex-killer, and then he seems to have an apprenticeship with this young girl who is going to teach her to garden. I assume, I don't know, there'll be murder.
Can we really become first reformed?
Hmm.
I feel like that's... yeah.
All right, we have another trailer here. It's called From Black.
Yeah, man.
This is
I don't know what's going on in this
Yeah.
trailer.
that's the best thing about
I'm
it.
kind
in my
of
opinion.
into it. Yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
into it, but I don't.
It's Shudder. It's about a woman whose kid is kidnapped, and I believe she's going to turn to Satanism to get her kid back. I think that's what it is.
She's also
Yeah.
appears to be a recovering drug addict. And I've
That's right.
I've liked Anna Camp in comedies and stuff before. I think it really seems like she's not giving a believable performance from this trailer. It felt a little cringe-inducing to me.
She was a little over the top. I could see that, but it's still, I don't know. I'm still
There's a lot of like creepy
super
stuff.
curious about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool horror imagery in the trailer. And I like the premise of like basically making a bargain with Satan. So you're like, okay, tell me what happened to my missing kid at least. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, but we're gonna haunt the shit out of you too. So
Right. Damn, I wish I could remember. There's a specific indie film about a satanic ritual that I really liked, and people shout it out if they know it. It's about a woman who's like goes to this guy's house to perform a satanic ritual. It was very interesting. This reminds me of that too. Like there's this element of like she doesn't know what she's getting herself into, but she's desperate. I don't know. I just think there's like also I think this trailer is well done.
it's not a bad trailer. It's just like a barrage of kind of disjointed, spooky imagery.
Yeah, and you get the vibe.
Yeah.
Like you get okay.
That's all you want from a
So-
trailer, really.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
you
Especially
get
for a
the
horror movie
setup.
like this, yeah.
You get the setup, and then you see like okay, and a bunch of fucked up shit's gonna happen, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
I liked the moment
So-
in the trailer where I think like the Satan priest was sort of contorting his back or something, and the new metal soundtrack goes choo-choo-choo, and the arms contort in time with that. It felt very like 2000s excessive
Oh yeah,
William Castle remake kind of stuff. That aesthetic should
Oh,
come
yeah.
back.
and all the demons. Every demon
I
likes
do
new
love
metal.
the Dark Castle movies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 13 Ghosts slaps.
Yeah, man. House of a Thousand Corpses. What is it? House on Haunted Hill?
Yes.
Yeah, I would argue House on Haunted Hill. I
Movie's pretty chill.
what is it? 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts is one where we watched it. We rewatched it recently, where it's like it's better in the memory, in my opinion. Whereas I think House on Haunted Hill continues to be pretty good.
Is that Jan
mean, it's a
DeBont
little-
who made that one?
I don't know. I'll look it up. But it's like it's still of its time, you know. But like Jeffrey Rush playing Vincent Price.
That's pretty
What more
awesome.
could you
That's
ask
very
And
for?
good.
Famke
Yeah.
Janssen's in it. Yeah.
Of course,
Oh.
playing hot chick that's terrifying. It's William Malone. I believe it's the director of Fear.com. Do I have that correct? Yeah, it is. No, this director made House on Haunted Hill, which, let's be honest, like that's better than, you know, most filmmakers get to make one solid thing like that. But then after that, you know,
And then it
not so much.
really went into a downward spiral with Fear.com.
Yeah.
We don't have
They
time.
did work on Freddy's Nightmares and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show as well, I'm seeing here. So that's something.
I didn't know they made a TV show of that.
Apparently.
We don't have time, but I am a bit of a Fear.com defender. We don't have time to get into
Sure.
it, though.
I mean, I've also watched that one fairly recently.
did.
I gotta push back on that.
I think yeah, we watched that within like the last year, I think.
Well, then
Yeah, I think someone made us.
you'll inspire me to rewatch it and see what I think.
Yeah.
No, yeah, by all means.
I do love early 2000s horror, not because it's scary. Like,
Yeah.
remember Darkness Falls?
Oh yeah,
I've never seen Darkness Falls.
does that
We'll have to watch
I
it
do
sometime.
remember the era, of course.
is she like the Tooth Fairy? Do I remember that?
Yeah,
That's the Tooth
there was
Fairy
like
one, yeah.
multiple Tooth Fairy movies at that time.
Yes.
Or like, of course, Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
Shadows.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's where
I
it's
rewatched the first Blair Witch last night, and the whole time I was thinking, this is a very good horror movie, but I wish there was more new metal on the soundtrack. I wish they were trying to like discover backwards messages.
Right.
And I just
I
kind of wish it was
wasn't found
worse
footage
overall.
for some reason. Yeah.
then
Well, you have your answer.
How
Blair
delighted
Witch
you
2.
must have been when Blair Witch 2 started.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is exactly what I was looking for.
I gotta rewatch that movie.
This movie's the last word in horror.
All right, where are we? What's going on? Oh, okay. So we're winding up. We're really winding up for the big finale here. Fuck, because the last trailer on our list is Tommy Wiseau's Big Shark.
Oh, man.
Return
I
of
think
First
the
of
King.
all,
It
all right.
better be as long as Return of the King.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think the shark looks very big, but as we discussed in that megalodon thing we were looking at
Yeah,
last week, it shouldn't be that big. So that's a point for Tommy Wiseau.
that's fair. That's fair. I do.
It's got like birdemic effects.
It
does,
does. They're charming in a way.
You can call it that, sure.
I don't know. It's what can you say about a Tommy Wiseau movie that's about to like what? Do you want me to like dissect this with a critical eye?
Right. My thought is I don't care that much. So when we worked at Kamikaze, when we had a booth, I went and got Tommy Wiseau's thing signed for someone else as a gift. And like nothing against, like The Room is very funny. Like it's one of those movies where if you haven't seen it, you watch it and you go, "Wow, I knew it was funny, but I didn't know it was this funny."
I think you need to point out that he signed a basketball, right?
Yeah, he did, which is very
Signed
funny.
a basketball.
He signed a copy of The Room for me, but the thing I have is a basketball,
Right.
and it's perfect because it's like what
They
it's
throw a football in the movie.
yeah. And not only so what they were doing a deal where if you buy something and he signs it, he would sign a free basketball and throw it to you. So he threw it to me. That's the other part of the deal. But this is all to say that like he was exactly what you'd expect, which is like he knows that he's a thing now. And like it was this booth, it was all like hot young women running the booth because of course it was. Those poor women, I'm sure, dealing with Tommy Wiseau. But like it's that like twilight between self-aware and not, where he knows like this is my thing now, right?
I think that was.
And so it's kind of like when they made Birdemic and then they made a sequel that just like played up the campiness, and it's like I'm sorry, it's kind of done.
Yeah, this is exactly my issue with this trailer. Now that he knows that like his brand is to make quote unquote bad movies, it just kind of reeks of like not understanding that the magic of The Room comes from a lack of self-awareness. And it's that kind of paradox.
Right.
Whenever you see sort of a piece, I'm a big fan of like outsider art and sort of so bad they're transcendent movies like The Room, like Birdemic. But it really is kind of a lightning striking once situation, I think, because once you know and you lean into it, this sort of just looks like a sci-fi
It's a
Sharknado adjacent kind of thing.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is
There's too much intent behind making a movie about a giant shark that's running through the streets, essentially. Like, yeah,
This is why the real bad film snobs go for Neil Breen.
Yes.
Bless his heart.
Yes.
Neil Breen seems to refuse to become
he
self-aware.
has never had
God.
that moment, right? He's not as into. Well, I don't know if I'm not going to say that, but like he
Here's the
didn't
thing.
get thrust to the position of being a celebrity like Tommy Wiseau did. Like Tommy
Right.
Wiseau really enjoys being a celebrity.
Right. Also, if Neil Breen is self-aware, he's doing a great job.
He's a master
at hiding it. Yeah, it's Andy Kaufman shit.
Because it has to be done in earnest. It can't be done like that's why I sort of hate like the Sharknado movies. Even the I enjoy some of them, but like in general, when something is being intentionally shitty or is trying to be intentionally bad, it's not fun. It's like you can't manufacture it. Like Greg said. I'm just repeating what Greg said essentially.
Tom, but
Tom, I do want to get into though where I think this trailer gets the juice is what you've highlighted in our notes here, which is that about halfway, 2/3 of the way through, it kind of takes a twist. How would you describe that twist, Tom?
So the trailer ends after about 53 seconds, and then the remaining minute and 40 seconds of this trailer is a commercial for Tommy Wiseau's underwear. It's called TW Underwear or Twunderwear, I guess.
I think.
So this is the magic of Wiseau, is because it's true he is self-aware, but not as self-aware as you would think.
Thinks.
Because he is pushing underwear. And I think he's doing that unironically. Yes, he's like, no, right. I'm still a fashion icon, of course, right? Like, maybe I make bad movies, but I'm beautiful.
The trailer
is basically what this is.
Yeah. Exactly. The trailer as a whole, as a single piece, like with the big shark and then his underwear commercial at the end of it. That's the real follow-up film from Tommy Wiseau.
That's
exactly. And that is done completely in earnest.
And this Twunderwear moment, it's like it almost feels like he's trying to do like a 90s Calvin Klein ad where it's artsy black and white. But the images are like a little too distorted. The sound seems to be recorded in a well. And that's really where I want him to live. He's aspiring for something great. And he just can't quite get it.
I'm on TommyWiseau.com.
Good.
And it looks like you get a free room DVD when you buy the Twunderwear. Currently marked down, it's $20, marked down from $50 for this Twunderwear.
Wow,
that's pretty good.
How many pairs do you get?
I think just the one.
Oh, just one pair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's they look like probably like underwear that he just like ordered to have the name Tommy Wiseau on them. But like my hand is going to the add to cart button.
But obviously,
I need to stop. But like. I see I get it.
I mean, how cool would you be if you show up to the court with your Tommy Wiseau basketball, rocking your Twunderwear?
Right.
You got to make that statement.
Right.
With the phrase casino goals tattooed across your midsection.
Here's cool. This is cool. With every purchase, a free COVID mask. So Wiseau, for all his faults,
does he
recognizes
breathe into
that.
it?
That would be amazing.
Each one has been breathed in by Tommy Wiseau. They could get the mash. Like, I can smell him.
Right. It continues, by the way, to be an extremely funny detail that the room DVD, the cover is just his face. Which is like that sums him up, right? It's the most self-centered thing to do. Is like, no, that's what they want to see. It's just my fucking face. Close up,
and he doesn't even have the awareness to have the image actually reflect anything about the character he was trying to play, which
it's
is like
just like a mugshot,
right?
It's
supposed to be this tragic, betrayed man who takes his own life out of agony, but he's like clearly just trying to pose as cool as possible.
Yeah,
for the DVD cut, it's like such a disconnect.
Yeah. It's nice to appreciate how funny that was when it first happened. Alas, I don't know about Big Shark.
No, I don't know. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I probably will too.
Yeah.
so many episodes of Hypecast has ended with us going, I guess I'll watch it.
I guess I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to watch Tommy Wiseau's Big Shark movie. Like,
exactly. What am I going to do?
I'm not an ogre. My heart's not made of stone.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's it for the
trailers.
trailers, man.
We can get into some news stories, but first we have some more patrons to thank. So
Oh, yeah.
let us do that. Big thank you to Deborah is awesome. Barbara is great, and Cancer can go to hell. Thank you.
Can. Thank you.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Toot, toot.
Thank you to Driftless wrote Mabel's name in the Witch's Book of Blood.
Thank you.
Thank you to E.T. the Extravagant Terresticle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Evil Ed 209.
Thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Funky J. Mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Hombre says, Mabel, step on me.
Thank you. All right, let me
Thank
jump in here.
you.
Thank you to ImpossibleWorlds.net, the new quarterly anthology featuring works from creators like Michael Swaim.
Thank you.
Thank you to James Cameron's Prolapsed Locomotive.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Ma, I'm on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Rob Ritchie.
Thank you.
Thank you. No one can hear you no one can hear you scream in Space McNulty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Stories. You all knew this was coming. This is rumors still that, according to Chris Carter, Ryan Coogler is rebooting the X-Files with a new cast. We, of course, have been tagged in many a tweets about this. So, what do people think?
I think.
And moving on.
Yeah, moving on. No, I think we already saw once how essential Mulder and Scully and that creative team, like Chris Carter, was to what made the X-Files popular, because when they took Mulder and Scully off, that's when the show really lost its audience. So I just think if you wanted to do like an updated kind of spook 'em up Monster of the Week show, you can just do that. It doesn't need to be a reboot of the X-Files. It just seems, it doesn't seem as in my mind, it's kind of like Ghostbusters, how they keep trying to make Ghostbusters happen, and it's like, well,
you're the second person I've heard say that. It's exactly it.
Like, kind of Ghostbusters. What people liked about it wasn't like the universe and like the idea of busting ghosts. It was those actors playing those characters specifically.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
The comparison I made in the notes is Twin Peaks, where it's like Twin Peaks is kind of a time, of a cast, and of a showrunner. I would also argue the X-Files is of a time. And what I mean by that is like doing a lot of anti-vaccine conspiracy stuff. Not really great right now. And so like X-Files was...
Conspiracies were like fun in the 90s.
Right.
It's
it's
to a
not
degree,
like
to a degree.
Star Trek where you could just keep making them. X-Files, also like Twin Peaks, it was very nostalgia. It was this 90s kind of camp. It's we're currently experiencing the Dog-Eat Years, which is like the same writers, same people, but like you can tell like they're losing the magic. I'd be happy if they did a revival, but even a revival, honestly, I think people were just sort of like, meh, and so like I don't think you could recapture that. And yeah, that's all to say. Yeah, Ryan Coogler doing a sci-fi alien show sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that is maybe where I have my one vestige of cautious in any way optimism, is that, we saw Coogler take the Rocky franchise and the MCU and kind of knock out some really great work in those sort of maybe stifling spaces. I do agree that I wish we just lived in a dang world where Ryan Coogler could pitch a new Monster of the Week show. But there probably is a little bit of like political maneuvering creators have to do where, if you want to make something, it has to have some kind of recognized name. There is currently, I think it's on Paramount Plus, a show called Evil that basically is a diverse cast solves X-Files-esque horror-tinged mysteries. So,
right.
A lot of this feels redundant, unnecessary. There's still a part of me that wants it to work, maybe just because I selfishly would like to write for a new X-Files show. But
for sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's also funny that this is all coming from Chris Carter, who just sort of dropped this information. So I'm imagining, because the quote is, "I just spoke to a young man, Ryan Coogler, who's going to remount the X-Files with a diverse cast." And it would be really funny if like he had a conversation with Ryan Coogler, who was like, "Yeah, I like the X-Files." And like that was it.
That would be
and
cool.
Chris Carter is just like, "Yeah, I'll give you the X-Files. I'm going to give you something to do." Because I'm sure Carter would get all the money in the world if this gets rebooted. It's sort of like the Evil Dead new ones, where I'm like, yeah, they're not quite the originals, but like, you know, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, they're producers on it. You know, like, I don't know, everybody's having a good time. So like, if, you know, it's not going to take anything away from the original if they make a new one. And if they happen to make it good, that's great.
Yeah, sure.
I just am, you know, I'm a little, like literally, the quote finishes with Carter saying, "So he's got his work cut out for him," and I kind of feel the same way, where it's like, yeah, that's a bit of a challenge, because I just don't quite see how that's gonna work out.
I don't know, maybe like Greg pointed out, Rocky was very much of a time, particularly where the series got as opposed to where it started.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is if he makes a really good show that's about paranormal stuff that just happens to be called the X-Files, that's probably fine too. Like, I think the follies will be if they're like, we have to have one believer and one skeptic, you know, like, we got to do this stuff. You got to have the Fluke Man come back, you know, like if he just sort of takes that brand and that basic broad premise, and it's like, oh, this is the people who took over the X-Files years later or something like that, you know, but new dynamic, then I don't know, could be fun. Probably won't get Toombs back, you know.
that guy's a
maniac.
No, probably not.
It's not the cigarette smoking man anymore. Now he vapes.
Yeah,
the Jewel Man.
That'd be amazing.
Okay, now the show sounds good. I'm in now.
Yeah.
Now the show sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch
it's just, I think this is the better way, honestly. Because I've been complaining about it so much, where it's like, here's Indiana Jones again, he's 80.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, here's Batman again. And even X-Files did a revival, which again I loved because I'm just a stupid fucking X-Files fanboy.
Yeah.
But like it's probably better to if you have to revive a property, I don't know, start with new characters. It just
sure. I mean, you know, like you said, the worst case scenario is that we get a new sci-fi horror show from Ryan Coogler. Like, it's
exactly. Sure. Yeah, and things have been revived before. It's just that the X-Files, I think, a lot of the reason people love the X-Files, like you said, it's the Ghostbusters thing. It's the vibes. It's the specific people. It was the specific time. And so it's just tough to see. But it could be good. Speaking of tough to see, Lionsgate is now considering John Wick 5. I think you called this, Tom, when we reviewed it, because it's doing well in the box office. Of course they are. Of course they're like, they don't understand this. I've said it before. Just it's the hey, the audience really liked our encore. We should play for 4 more hours. It's like, no, you like. Isn't there a phrase, leave them wanting more? Like, whatever happened to that? Wasn't that like a thing that you're supposed to do in show business?
Yeah, it's also...
Go ahead.
You mentioned you reviewed it. Are we allowed to like get into spoiler territories on the Hypecast?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Let's try to avoid spoiling it, sure. As... Because a lot of people listening may not have seen it. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure. John Wick 4 sets up, in my estimation, a bunch of spin-offs. And the spin-offs seem very interesting. To continue the story of Mr. Baba Yaga, John Wick himself, after the film, to me seems creatively not just unwise, but like untenable, impractical.
Impractical. Yeah, I think they could do it without spoiling things. We talk about that in the review of how, but it's just, again, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. It's like...
Oh, go ahead.
I will say
we all had a thought.
We all had a thought. I will say that, reading this piece in The Hollywood Reporter that you linked to, when they actually talk to Keanu Reeves and Chad Stahelski, Chad
Stahelski,
Transylvania,
I think.
they do seem to be a lot more kind of almost that Kugler effect, a little more wary, a little more like, yeah, it could happen. We could come up with another good idea. It would be fun, but maybe we won't too.
Yeah, it's Lionsgate wants it,
Yes,
right?
of course.
They're considering
I'm
it's kind of
sure.
like saying Warner Brothers wants more Harry Potters. It's like, of course they do.
Lionsgate wants more money.
Yeah. But it is sort of, it's just that creatively bankrupt thing from studios where it's, it's what we've talked about a million times when you like the studios have more power than the creators, that the decisions are made based off money. So it's like, yeah, imagine if they made Return of the King and then they were like, man, that went really well. Let's make like a bunch more. I guess they did do that.
I was about to say, imagine if that happened.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? If they're like, let's make Return of the King 2.
They never
and,
like turned
sequel
The Hobbit
it.
into 3 books or anything like that. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Definitely great. They didn't
But you
take
know what
The
I mean,
Hobbit
like-
and turn it into a 9-hour trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But this is like, it's almost more cynical where it's like, this thing is ending. Like that's like John Wick 4 is meant to end the series. And so it's just like,
at least this specific storyline, because what Greg was saying, it does seem like there's at least 1, maybe 2 spin-offs set up.
they're planting a lot of
Potentially
seeds.
set up in this, and we know they're doing the Continental show and they're doing the ballerina movie.
Right. So like they even did the Marvel thing and it's still not enough,
Yeah.
basically, is they're like, no, we can't just like, they don't just want to go forward. They want to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I
and
think
mind you,
they're nervous to continue it without Keanu, potentially.
yeah, I will say, and we probably should note this, John Wick isn't exactly like Lord of the Rings in that like it doesn't have a plot that needs to be protected
Sure,
or is very
yeah.
sacred. But it's still like, come on, because the alternative is what we see. It's what happened with Harry Potter. The alternative is that they just stop making movies because no one watches them anymore. And it's like, don't you want to end like where it's supposed to end and everybody's happy? Do you really want to just make 5 more John Wicks until everybody goes, me, and like gets...
Like Culture Club once said, do you really want to hurt me?
Yeah, exactly. That said, I want to see 10 more spin-offs,
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Lionsgate, if you're listening, and I know you are, I'm gonna spend my hard American bucks on Ballerina, on the Rina Sawayama spinoff I hope you're making right now. I'll watch the Continental. Like, I like this world a lot, and I want to see more badass, hyper-practical action flicks. But I also... And it means you did a good job. I care about this particular character, Mr. John Wick, and I like where he ends up at the end of this film. I don't need to see him anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the point of storytelling, right? Like movies shouldn't be this modular where you can just tack on more if you feel like it. I don't know. I'm sick of it. I want people to plan movies, have endings, and then stick to the endings, please. And even things like John Wick, and again, they can make plenty more spin-offs. And like ultimately, like I just want to see people fight each other in cool ways.
Hell yeah.
It doesn't need to be Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves.
Right, yeah.
But
this
I don't need it to be him.
No, this team, these filmmakers, these stunt people, the choreographers and performers, like that. I want them to keep making movies until the end of time.
Right. And that's how movies used to be, right?
Yeah.
Like Spielberg would make Jurassic Park and he made a sequel and then he went and made other films. And we wanted to see those other films because we knew that was the person who made Jurassic Park. It didn't have to be Jurassic Park again. Of course, they made way more of those. But you know what I'm saying, which is like they could just say from the people who made John Wick.
And
people will go see
do.
that movie. Yeah. And we'll go see that movie and we'll like it too. It doesn't have to be the same universe. Or the same character, rather. It's just I don't get it. It's weird. I hate it. Any other thoughts on this?
No.
Okay. Well, we got more producers to thank then.
Oh, hey. All right.
Hey now.
Let's do that.
Big old thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pete Vorpagel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcano Coniosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you to pre-order TikTok superstar Jason Pargin's new book, Zoe is Too Drunk for This Dystopia. Pre-orders are super important.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Snapper Car Punches God extra hard in the dick for Tom. We missed you, Tom.
Oh, hey, thank you.
They were a little late, but
That's fine.
It counts.
Counts.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist. Thank
Thank
you
you so
to
much.
Steven.
Thank you.
Steven. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you.
So convenient, so easy to access. Thank you.
Mhm.
Does Jason know we have like a perpetual plug for his?
Yes.
Okay.
He's aware. He's been made aware.
Let me step in here. Thank you to Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight?
Thank you.
Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the 2B Terror Bunny. Says watch Dead Heat.
Thank you.
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Turks.
Thank you.
Thank you to Vincent with a Y.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon.
Thank you.
Thank you to your mom.
Thank you.
And thank you to Zzz, because Pie Guy liked being last.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Can I ask
Dave.
a
Good
follow-up
stuff.
question to one of those producer names?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Oh, you don't like that? Never mind. You don't want me to.
No,
do it.
do it.
I want you to do it.
You started to say no, but okay. The 2B one mentioned that we should watch Dead Heat. Are they referring to the Joe Piscopo, Treat Williams zombie cop horror action comedy?
I can only assume that is the film they are referring to.
All I can say is that I vouch that everyone should watch the film Dead Heat immediately. It's one of my favorite genre classics. Someone just put it out on 4K. I have the 4K. It looks fucking beautiful. Whoever said that, thank you from me. You have great taste.
I've never seen this movie. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, why
looks
haven't I seen
incredible,
this
yeah.
movie?
It's so
Yeah,
good.
why-
It's
why,
so
yeah.
Fuck am I doing with my life? Fucking Vincent Price is in this movie?
He sure is, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna watch this.
This is happening, Dave.
Yeah, this is happening.
We're watching this tonight, I
immediately.
think.
Yeah, I think we are, Tom. I think that's gonna happen.
Oh man, Dave, you know what else is gonna happen?
What?
Is you're gonna shut your pie hole,
Okay.
zip your little lippies,
Zipping.
right.
Zip the lips.
open up your ears,
Opening.
and
They're
let
open.
and then let me know, Dave, whether
Okay.
you have a movie that deserves
Okay.
more hype.
Oh. I do.
What
do.
luck?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Uh,
Greg, I'm so excited you're here. You're here for this.
Yeah,
Hey, me
yeah.
too.
Who'd have thought it? Let's see. This is IFC Films. Yeah, the trailer is still not getting the numbers it should. This is called Biosphere. This is coming out July this year, July 7th. I think on streaming. It might be in theaters. I'm not sure. But this is a gritty biodome, sort of. Not completely. It stars Sterling K. Brown and Mark Duplass, who you might know from Creep. He plays the Creep in that movie. He also wrote that movie along with this movie. He co-wrote it with one of his like usual people he works with, Mel Elslin, who's like produced and written his work. And boy, this just looks really interesting. A lot of the reviews are like, we can't tell you much, but it takes place in a biodome. The world has ended, and to the point that everything out the window is just complete blackness. Like you don't even see like a landscape. It's just darkness. And it's two friends who are in this dome, one of which was the former president, which explains how they got in this dome to me. I like that idea that like this was the last president basically and his longtime friend, and they're in this dome, and the inciting incident is basically like that the fish they're farming, the last female dies, and that's their source of food. So it's these two friends basically dealing with the fact that they are the last of humanity and they are probably going to die. And it also seems like that the president probably had something to do with the end of the world. So that's interesting. And it's a very dark comedy. It's apparently like really kind of walks the line between like dumb, silly, like dick jokes, and like very, very emotional. And from the reviews, people seem to think it does that very well. It's got a good rating, at least on Rotten Tomatoes, out of only 10 reviews though. And so it just looks like a really compelling movie to me with two very, good actors just doing their thing. What'd you guys think of this?
I thought it looked like such catnip for me. I'm so grateful you brought this to our attention. There's no subgenre that I adore more than people stuck in a room trying to figure it out.
Yep.
Sterling K. Brown is like one of my absolute favorite working actors. If y'all haven't seen Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, that movie is so good, and he gives a performance that sounds maybe similar to what you're digging about this, David, where it like switches between silliness to menace to satire kind of on a dime, and he just clobbers it out of the park with each switch. The tone looks really like intriguing. All of the kind of hints of what transpires make it sound very kind of transgressive and chaotic. I'm all in on Biosphere. It looks dope as heck.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved this.
Yeah.
It's everything Greg said. I like how I like I like that it seems simultaneously silly and also really powerful, or like clawing at like real emotion. And I like that there's kind of a little bit of mystery to it. Especially from what I'm reading from the little excerpts of reviews that you included. It's like they don't. Apparently the movie doesn't completely explain everything, and I like when movies do that.
Yeah.
Yes. The reviews also seem to say it doesn't cop out. Whatever that's gonna mean.
Wait to find out what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
I do too. But the one thing that the reviews did mention where they're like, we won't go past this, is that they notice a green light in the sky. And I think that's when all the reviews are like, and we won't say more than that. So like, I think that's the final hook. Yeah. So there's also an element of like, what the fuck is going to happen in this? Like, I like the exploration of just these two characters talking, but I'm also just like super fucking curious of what they will tell. Like, it's setting up a world, like this idea of a pitch black, like nothingness outside the dome is like, what does that mean? Are they going to explain it? I like this idea. It's like Cube, but like fun. So I don't know. Yeah, this is also catnip for me, which is why I shared it. And I'm frankly surprised I haven't seen any, like, sometimes I look up the trailer and I'll look up like alternate, like the Joe Blow ones or whatever to see. I haven't found a trailer that's like a lot of people have seen, which surprised me because it just looks compelling as hell. So, Biosphere. It's like Biodome, but sphere.
Mm-hmm. They're in the Dome family.
Yeah.
Well, they're all in the Domeverse for sure.
Domeverse,
for sure.
thank you.
Yeah. The extended Domeverse.
Yeah.
The ED.
You gotta have it. And if it does really well, maybe they'll make an unnecessary sequel.
The Dark Domeverse.
I think it could be fun. I'll just give this pitch for free, Lionsgate. Make a John Wick movie that's 70 minutes long, and it's literally John Wick, another similarly capable assassin, stuck in one room. And they don't stop until one person's left standing.
Yeah, fuck it.
Just a 70-minute long fight scene. That sounds fun.
Yes. Yes. Do this movie. Lionsgate, I know you're listening.
We deserve it.
Yeah, we've earned this.
Yeah, we're good. We've been good.
We're good little boys.
We bought tickets to 4 John Wicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, that's a sode. We've done it.
Woo!
Yay, sode! We did it. Greg, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so fun to chat about fun and even not fun sounding pop culture with two fun little boys.
Aw,
That's us.
thanks. That's all I've ever wanted to be.
Yeah. Do you want
Fun
to
little boy.
do a little more pluggies right here at the end?
Smith L. Gregg, Twitter and Instagram. April 21st, UCB Theater, 24th through the 30th, the World Fest Film Festival. If you want to see my little horror thriller, it's called Listening. It starts out as a movie about how targeted ads are listening to us a little too carefully, and then it twists into something a little more... I'll leave the rest for you to see. Houston, Texas. Thank you.
Okie dokie.
Thanks.
Well, I will plug our Patreon. Patreon.com. Sorry, www.patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. You go on there, you get access to some exclusive podcasts for just $5 a month. You get Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We also watch movies with our patrons every Friday night. You can be a part of that for just a little more. We do it through our Discord, which we have a lovely community there. We will be probably watching this fucking Dead Heat?
Certainly be watching Dead Heat tonight.
Yeah, that sounds
The day
like
this
something
episode
we
goes
do.
up. It sure does, Dave.
Yeah, and I think I know what the other one will be.
Yeah.
It's going to be,
it's going to be a night to remember.
Night.
A night to remember. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you'll find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your Joe Pisca peepers onto that.
Nice. Do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do that.
Yep.
What a treat, Williams.
Hey, there it is. It's the
Hell
best movie
yes.
ever made.
It sure is.
Yeah.
All right, say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. You can find more of his artwork at instagram.com/mvbramleyart. Our episode artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.